Mike, you haven't lost yet at home. I mean, 10-0, I guess. I mean, that's the nearest mark to you. That's your next benchmark if you wanted to keep going. I mean, what is it like? How important was it for you to establish at home? You came back from on the road, and people were saying, "Oh, guys aren't getting the offense." Now it looks like everybody's sort of getting it and pulling it together. What has that been like?
We felt we were a good team, or had a chance to be a good team from the beginning. I've said this before. We just didn't have a lot of time together before we went out on the road, I made some mistakes, and we cleaned it up, and we were able to spend some time together. And as we went along on the road, I thought we played a little bit better. Didn't play well in Miami. Played a little bit better in Milwaukee, played a little bit better in Chicago, at least a half in each one of those games. And then, we got here. Our fans are fantastic, playing here at MSG, playing at home. There's no better place to play for our group. And we fed off the energy of being here, and we figured it out. And we strung some games together because we played the right way on both ends of the floor for a little closer to 48 minutes in our previous games, and I was able to help them better. So you always want to protect home as best you can, especially again with the fans that we have in this building and the energy that you feel in this building. And I don't know what our home record's going to be at the end of the day, but we just keep taking it one game at a time and trying to get a win, especially at home.
Mike, how do you find defensive consistency when Mitch, who's obviously such a big part of the defense, is in and out of the rotation? He probably will be in and out of the rotation. How do you find that consistency, even though he won't be consistent?
Well, I'm not sure about that. We just got to take that thing one game at a time and follow the lead of our medical people in terms of what the process is going to be. I do know, in terms of continuing to ramp him up, his stretches, he can go longer with his stretches. He can go longer with his minutes now than before. So it's constantly on the rise based off of what Casey and his group tell us night in and night out. So, but having said that, tonight it wasn't about Mitch. They killed us in transition. And we can have anybody on the floor, and, you give them credit because they kept fighting. But we could have had anybody on the floor, and if we got back in transition the way that we did tonight, it would have been bad. So we didn't do a good job getting back. We didn't do a good job following our rules while we were getting back. We just kind of nonchalantly got back, ran next to our guy, and then hoped that everybody was matched up. And you can't do that against them because they're very good at trying to put pressure on you, especially with the throw-ahead pass.
Coach, your team had 3 straight games, 130 points. How do you like your team's offensive flow during this home stretch?
I thought in the first half tonight we were really good. The floor was spaced. We played with pace. We had plenty of ball reversals. We touched the paint multiple times. We sprayed it. I thought offensively we looked really, really good in the first half tonight. The second half, we didn't move the ball as much. We didn't space the floor as much. We had a couple of snap drives, and when we drove, we got past our guy, but we had one of our teammates and his defender in the paint. And so instead of just finishing over, possibly one guy, your guy, now you're trying to finish over your guy, your teammate, and his defender. So our spacing was not good in the second half. Our decisions weren't quick in the second half. We didn't play with great pace and variety in the second half. We kind of gave them the same dose of the same thing most of the second half. And then, we just kind of thought it was going to happen very easily. So we played good basketball offensively. We played some decent basketball in spurts tonight. You talk about 47 field goals made, and 35 of those were assisted. So we did do some things right, but I know, and I think the guys in the locker room feel that we could have done better.
Mike, I know we've asked you so much about OG's shooting throughout the start, but it really feels like especially this last week and a half, he's made all of these connected passes where he just has a quick split-second touch and then finds a guy, or he gets to the paint, he's able to find the guy in the corner, who's able to swing and then get it back to him in the corner later. What do you think is allowing him to kind of take this kind of quiet but also kind of obvious leap as
Yeah, you know, the OG's an all-star, in my opinion. Not only is he an all-star, he's an all-defensive performer. And, you know, in my opinion, he should have an opportunity amongst others in our group to fight for Defensive Player of the Year in the league. And so, you know, he worked his tail off in the summertime, first of all. And then secondly, you know, I think he's just getting comfortable with what we're trying to do. He knows where guys should be on the floor when he drives. He's making quick decisions with the basketball, and when he feels a second defender step up, again, based off of what we're trying to do offensively, he knows what spots should be filled, and anybody can make those passes almost blindly because he knows he's done his job and somebody should be there. So he's just embracing what we're trying to do offensively with his talent, his size, his athleticism, his IQ. It's just showing that he can still go to another level as a playmaker.
Is that also true for him with the way that like he relocates time? For example, like tonight there's a play where he's on the right block, he kind of do a skip pass,
Yep.
and then immediately relocated to the corner.
Yep.
And the ball just swung around the perimeter and then found him in the corner. Is that just like one of those plays where like okay, is that improvised on him, or is that like part of your principles where he knows him going to the corner?
It's part of our principle. We're a big paint touch, whether it's off the dribble drive, cut, roll, it doesn't matter. But not only we're big in the paint touch, we're huge with the respace. And that's what I said earlier. You know, we touched the paint in the second half, but we didn't always respace. And that's something, it's conceptual. Like, it's not always, okay, when you touch the paint from this spot, you go here. No, you just respace, and you know our spots. If somebody's there, they need to play off of you and get to the next spot. And there's a few different things that they can do in order to get to those spots. And like I said, our guys are just getting a better feel of it. We still got a lot of room to grow, but when we're doing it the right way, in my opinion, is beautiful basketball, and I think it's a lot of fun, and the guys embraced it because of those things.
Coach, before the game, you talked about Yabusele not getting the minutes, and tonight he got some extra minutes. So what did you see in terms of the minutes that Yabu gave you?
Yabu played hard, and he's got to keep playing hard. I thought his pace was really good, especially offensively. You know, the times that he needed to play ball screen, did a great job sprinting into the ball screen, creating separation, did a fantastic job setting the screen and getting out of the screen. Defensively, he was pretty good, but I thought him as well as everybody else, we weren't good in transition, and it showed, like I said, in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Transition defensively. Defensive player of the game was Mikal Bridges. Mikal had a couple of next play speeds, which I'm huge on. I talked to you guys about that. He had a couple of next play speeds that were unbelievable. I think he had maybe four steals, something like that. He had 4 steals. So he impacted the game for us on that end. But he was still part of the group, the whole group, in terms of our lack of defensive transition.
What did you think of the offense in the first half? It seemed like the ball was moving. You guys were hitting a ton of shots.
Yeah, the ball was moving. We were playing off each other, playing ball, and yeah, it's when the ball's moving like that. I mean, we're making shots. It's great to see.
Kind of with that, Jalen, we talked a lot about you doing stuff off the ball and just your relocation threes. I was just curious, how much of that is just natural and getting to certain spots when your teammate has the ball? How much of it is like built into the offense? I guess just the comfortability there and finding those open spaces.
A little bit of both. It's obviously preach that in practice and in our walkthroughs and stuff like that. And as a team, we work on them. And I mean, in the off season, that's what I work on. Work on relocating. And the talk was playing off ball. So why don't I just work on that? And so there was a lot of the stuff I did this summer, and the ball's going in when I do it.
55 three-point attempts. I think that's a franchise record. Just, how much of that is a point of emphasis, with this coach and with this team?
Yeah, I mean, we're emphasizing it, but I think the best part about it, a lot of them are good shots. And so we may have some end of shot clock shots, but the way we're getting them is great. So we just got to keep generating the way we are and just keep making advantages for each other.
Those are the little kind of plays that have to be made to make sure you get a win.
For sure. I know all the coaches preach it, corner crashing, and just trying to listen to my coaches, play hard for them, my teammates, and try to make the right play. And, happy Jalen made the shot too.
I've often heard you guys say recently that there's still more room to grow with this team, but that's 3 straight games over 130 points. Franchise has never done that before.
Yeah.
So people are wondering if there's another level to go, what could it possibly look like?
Yeah, I think so. I think we missed a lot of threes. G talked about it even on the court. We got tomorrow to make it up, but still a lot of room to grow. A lot of turnovers in the second half. Defensively, we can still be way better. I think we have over 110 points. So that was a game where we could lock it in the fourth and get some stops and break the game out a little bit. But they still a good team and they came out, made a run and getting out of transition. But us, we got to be better. But definitely I think a lot of room to go, honestly.
33 points off turnovers, and a lot what happens with your offense momentum-wise seems to come off of defense, does it not?
Yeah, and I think when they started making a run, I think we started to forget it a little bit, how we were up so big. I think, once you start scoring a little bit, I think our mindset started to think, oh, we just score, let's think offense and not play defense, and that's when they made that run. But that's when we went up 19, up 20, up 20-something at one point. It was because we were getting stops, and, we started, just thinking about scoring and, messed us up a little bit.
How comfortable can you get? This is not normal to play this many home games early in the season, but
yeah.
Is this important to the team? I mean, how comfortable are you getting in this building?
Yeah, it's great, man. The environment's crazy and fun no matter what team we play against. So it's always great to put on for them. But just keep winning, keep taking game by game, win at home, and bring that same energy when we go on the road as well.
We're seeing Jalen, obviously, we talked a lot about him playing off the ball, but we're seeing him do things like relocation threes and a lot of spot-up opportunities. Do you think he's underrated as a shooter? People obviously talk about him as a scorer, but just as a pure shooter, do you think that people are starting to see what he did?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like a lot of guys that shoot a lot of off-the-dribble threes, it's going to be tough for your percentage to be up as high. But, yeah, catch and shoot, I've been around him for so long and understand how well he catches shoots. I feel like I find him or OG the most when I drive because they relocate so well and just finding that, the empty space, finding that. And, but, yeah, his catch and shoot is ridiculous and he works all the time, all day. So his numbers could be a little different because he shoots a lot off the dribble.
What do you think you guys need to do on the defensive end in games that Mitch isn't here to kind of be able to have that same level of intensity when he's not?
Man, it's tough to match a guy like that. Mitch brings so much. But I think we just got to overhelp each other, just help each other. That's really much it. And obviously we did a pretty good job, but it's just transition. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to get back. We can't complain to the refs or we just got to, or we foul or something. Even dead balls, they still were scoring. We just got to get back and worry about that end, and things will be good.
What did you see from them to cut those leads down, and then how did you
transition threes? They hit threes, and we didn't do a good job of stopping the bleeding. And credit to them, they got hot, and we just, we weren't making shots on the other end. So, it's good to learn. It's good to be reminded, how great this league is and how great these teams are. And, it only takes a couple minutes to take away all the good work we did in a day. So, good learning experience.
What do you think is the key to shoring up the transition defense? It's been something that's been plaguing you guys to start the year.
You just got to be better. Simple as that. You just got to do it.
the offense that you guys have been playing lately. I mean, 10 games in, does it feel like you guys are really onto something?
I think we're a work in progress. You know, we're working. We're trying to, all of us trying to figure out where we could impact the game the most in the system. And you know, we're still working. We're still working. We're still finding different ways to impact the game.
So have you having conversations, a lot of the team having conversations during stoppages of play? Looks like strategy conversations, by the way everybody's pointing and stuff like that. Is that just ongoing throughout the game? You see something, you talk about it right away?
I mean, yeah, you know, we have our setup, and you know, we're just trying to figure out different ways to go against the defensive game plan. So we're all just always talking, trying to find ways to be better.